Hello everyone and welcome to another Super Science video of the Massillon Regional Library. I'm Miss Stephanie, one of the children's librarians here, and this month we're going to do experiments with candy. And I'm really excited about this because both experiments that we're going to do today are going to turn out really cool, and they turn out much better than I expected. And the candy we're going to be using is jelly beans and some Mentos. And the other things you're going to need for these experiments are toothpicks, a cup full of water, one or two plastic plates, and a 16 ounce of Coca-Cola. And it can be regular or diet, but I found that diet worked better. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so what I have here is I have the jelly beans, and I've arranged them all in patterns in two plates just so you can see what they look like. And I have some warm water here, and I'm about to pour some in each of the plates, and we're going to see what happens when the warm water dissolves the sugar in the jelly beans. And you can use other candy for this as well, Skittles and M&Ms. But I thought jelly beans have lots of different colors, so I decided to stick with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the water in each of these, and then I'm going to wait 5 minutes and see what happens. So let me pour it from this one and this one. All right. And then we're going to set these aside for a minute, and I'm going to shift the camera over, and I'm going to show you something else we can do with jelly beans while we're waiting for these to do their thing. Okay, if you have some leftover jelly beans, we can actually do something while we wait for our other jelly beans that are dissolving in the water to make something special. And you just need some toothpicks, and you need the jelly beans itself, and it is engineering. And engineering is creating and building structures like buildings. And you can do so many things with these. You can build something flat, you can build something 3D, you can make a jelly bean tower, you can use the jelly beans to make letters or numbers. It just depends on what you want to do. And I'll just show you something I made, just a simple structure, but you could use this as a base and see how high you can make your jelly bean tower go. And all you need to do, I found that the big jelly beans work the best, and you just take the toothpick, you just put them in, and then you just keep doing it, and you just create whatever you want to with them. And I'll make a triangle real quick. So I'll put another toothpick in here. Then another one here. One more here. And then I'll connect these together. And sometimes it may take a few tries, but there we go. And as you can see, I have my jelly bean triangle. And here is the other three-dimensional structure that I made. So let's go back and see what happened to the candy after 5 minutes. Okay, now we can see that the water has dissolved the sugar coating from the jelly beans and made different patterns. And let's see, I'm going to just move in a little bit so you can see them a little better. This one made that pattern, and that made one a little different than the other one. I think this one turned out a little better because the colors are more separated. And the reason why that they're separated is you think they would mix together more, but actually because the water is all the same density, it doesn't rise or fall or mix with each other. It just kind of stays where it is. So, and you can just, with each different time you put the jelly beans in and put the water in, it's going to make a different pattern. So you can just experiment and just see what turns out best for you. Okay, and now for our next experiment, all you're going to need is the Coke and the Mentos. And I just wanted to let you know that this experiment is going to be really messy. So I'm not going to do it here. I'm actually we're going to switch the camera and do it in a sink. And also, if you're feeling really into this, you can get get your adult to get you a 2-liter and do it in your backyard. And I recorded what happens both when you do a smaller Coke and a larger Coke with the Mentos. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so what I do is I highly recommend that you do this experiment in a sink or a bathtub because it's going to get really messy. And as you can see, I have my Diet Coke right here. It's a 16 ounce. And I highly recommend Diet Coke versus the regular Coke because this has no sugar in it, and sugar kind of slows down the chemical reaction. You'll still get a good response, but it won't be as good as if you use Diet Coke. So let me put this down and we're going to unscrew the top. And careful not to shake it. And so let me put this aside. And then here are my Mentos, and I'm going to drop them in, and let's see what happens when we do that. Oh, there we go. Nice geyser. Very nice geyser. And what you're gonna be thinking, like, why did that happen? Why did we just put candy and Coke, and why does it explode like that? Well, it's because when they're making Coke in the factory, that it has carbon dioxide in it, and that causes the bubbles in the soda. And that's why when you look at a Coke, especially when you first open it, you see the bubbles rise to the surface. And the Mentos candy actually have little tiny pits all over the surface, and these pits are perfect places for the carbon dioxide bubbles to collect. And since the Mentos are heavier than the Coke, when they sink to the bottom, and all those little air bubbles that have collected on the candy work to push the cola up and out of the bottle really quickly. And that's what creates our geyser. Alright guys, now I'm going to show you what happens when we're going to put the Mentos with a 2 liter of Diet Coke instead of just the smaller one I just showed you now. And I highly recommend we do this outside because it's about to get real messy. So I got 4 Mentos out. I'm slowly unscrewing the cap. Make sure you don't shake it. And I'm going to go ahead and drop them in really quick and back up. Woo! And that's why we do it outside. Okay, I hope you had as much fun as I did with those experiments. And I did get both candy experiments from these books, Candy Experiments by Laura Lee Levitt. And she had so many fun science experiments. It was really hard for me to just choose 2. And I'm just gonna, some of these do involve the microwave, and some stuff that I would highly recommend you do with an adult. And I'll just highlight one cool science experiment in each one of these books that you guys might enjoy doing as well. The first one is called the Incredible Growing Gummy Worm. And this experiment just shows like what happens when a gummy worm absorbs water, and see how big it can get and what happens when it absorbs different types of liquids. And then the second experiment is in the sequel, Candy Experiments 2. And then, let me just open this real quick. And this one is called Candy Ice Tunnels. And this one takes a little while, but it looks really cool. Because what you do is you just take some Skittles or Jolly Rancher and some ice, and you just leave the candy on the ice, and it kind of digs a tunnel through that. And that's due to the sugar dissolving, and it causes something different to happen to the ice. And as we saw with the jelly beans dissolving, that caused something different as well, because different substances do different things when they mix with other substances. So that is a great experiment as well. And if you're looking for a chapter book about candy, the classic Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl is a great bet. It's a story of a boy named Charlie Bucket who gets a golden ticket because there's a mysterious candy owner named Willy Wonka, and he gets 5 kids to tour his candy factory. But mysterious things happen to all of them along the way. And so this book just talks about the tour, and it has great descriptions of all the candy that he makes in there, and it's a really fun and enjoyable read. So thank you again for joining me for our Super Science video. I look forward to sharing more experiments with you soon. Have a good day. Bye.